moving on, again within the community post, Captain BERKS released a 3.14 easy beginner's guide, which is a welcome to Star Citizen. Obviously, there have been some changes, quite a few changes within the 3.14 patch, the version of Star Citizen. And this is a guide that basically will just introduce you to the game if you are new. There was a Star Citizen video of Meet Tony ZUROVEC, or ZUROVEC, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this was an interview with Tony, who will be overseeing the development of Star Citizen's persistent universe from Austin.
So let me hop in just real quick, Cardi. Sorry, Katie.
Please.
Two things. On the Captain BERKS video, if you're new to Star Citizen, you need to watch that video. That video breaks down, like, legitimately, it goes point by point and says, like, okay, here's how you pick your starting location. Here's how you pick this. Here's how you pick that. It covers legitimate. It's like, turn on your ship, make it ready to fly by hitting R. You can turn on the engines with I. You can turn, or off with I. You can do this. You can do that. It goes point by point. It is a very comprehensive. If you're just starting for the very first time, watch that video. You will not be disappointed. And the Tony Z video, this is, I pulled it, this is from a couple years back. This is a gem in the rough. We're going to cover a couple of Tony Z videos because Tony Z, to me, is the Dr. K of Star Citizen. I fucking love that dude. He is this crazy, beautiful mind genius. And that video, it's a 40-minute long video. It's a couple years old. It's when he first started on the project. Both Tony and Chris look so young in that video. And they talk for 40 minutes openly about, it's not only is that a beautiful video to get to know Tony Z, but that video is beautiful to get to know why Chris Roberts did this, because they just openly and honestly bitch about stuff that they were forced to do in the video games industry, where it's like, yeah, when we were working for Origins, we had to do this, we had to do that. It sucked. We didn't like it. We're doing our own fucking thing now. And Chris just gushes about Tony Z and says, this guy was a genius. He was on a different team, but he was a friend of mine, and I wanted to poach the hell out of him when I was going to do my own thing, because this is the beautiful mind that I want running my dynamic universe. I want this guy running the AI. So, like, legitimately, I don't care if you're new to the project or if you're old to the project, go watch that Tony Z video for 40 minutes, and that will do more to sort of make you get where they're coming from with Star Citizen than any other video you can watch. Take it away, Katie.
I just want to add very quickly that with the beginner's guide that goes into such depth, that is really useful. For example, just to give you an example from my own experiences, I remember when I was starting and I got into my ship and I had no idea how to request takeoff from the hangar. And everyone was telling me, oh, it's just middle mouse button. They weren't explaining to me that you needed to look at an MFD and set it to the comms panel and look at the contact for the station you're in, because to them that was all that was almost like a given, So beginners guides like that, when you're coming from a different game or you're completely new to it, absolutely invaluable. Because there are a lot of things that even your friends playing the game might take for granted, that you should just instinctively know certain things. So there is also a database available to find any item in Star Citizen. This is finder.cornerstonebase.space. Obviously, this is extremely useful with items in Star Citizen being sold at specific locations. It can be very, very useful to know where to go to find very specific items. We have the ship naming conventions of the UEE Navy. This is a really, really cool image that shows every class of larger ship. Now, these are the ships at Hammerhead and above of the UEE Navy. They all have unique names given to them, and this document basically explains that. It's also a really, really lovely kind of image of the ships, and the Invictus logo is on there as well.
I just
So
gotta say,
that's very cool.
I just gotta say, Katie, look at the little teeny tiny carrack in that video.
I
And like
know,
when
I
you
know.
fly up next to a video and you see, or sorry, when you fly up next to a carrack, I'm really drunk, and you see how they're like, dude, that is a small floating city. And then you see how small it is on that map compared to, you know, you look at a Pegasus, you look at a Javelin. Javelin is huge. Javelin is a flying Sacramento. And you look at how small that is next to the Retribution, and you're like,
Holy crap.
holy shit, the scale.
I commented that the carrack in the hangar, when I first saw it, was so big it becomes part of the environment. And on that image, the carrack is, but it looks like a light fighter compared to the scale of these larger ships, these larger carriers, and it's remarkable, isn't it? The level of scale that they've got in this game for ships.
Hell yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, in Invictus Week, a few months back, we got to see the Idris. They had the Idris tour, and that thing was so huge, it made people melt the Idris because they realized that they won't be able to handle it as a solo player. So that thing changed a lot of mind. And so seeing this graphic here, I mean, I don't think the Twitch video does it justice, because if you click on the link and expand it, that gives you a better idea of scale. So yeah,
absolutely.
I think FC you meant the Javelin. The Javelin it was.
Javelin, right. Javelin.
Yep.
Crazy. Go ahead, kid.
And in fact,
go ahead.
Sorry. I was in fact, I was going to say also one of the other cool things that happened was that the Bengal carrier showed up as well. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that.
Oh yeah.
But when you saw the Bengal in comparison to the Javelin, and again the Idris, as you were saying, you do start to realize the size of these ships is amazing. I mean, back to even what Katie was saying about the Reclaimer. You know, when you watch a Reclaimer in the video, it's one thing. When you stand next to the Reclaimer, it's an entirely different thing.
Oh yeah.
It really is. It really is. We have the player ship list, which is broken down by the year they were announced. This is essentially a kind of a table showing the years from 2012 to 2021, and it shows then the ships that were publicly committed to, but not necessarily sold in that year. It's really interesting. I mean, there are a lot of ships in Star Citizen, so knowing where the kind of origin point for them are, it's really, really cool. I'm not familiar with all of them. I'm familiar with quite a few on the list now, but not all of them, certainly. I'm very, very interested to try the Raylan, which, from the images I've seen, it looks like a really, really cool ship in terms of its design. So the Star Citizen Galaxy Jump Point Transit Map, a map to known jump points connections between systems. This is basically a map of the interconnecting star systems of the verse that we will have access to. I don't know about you. I'm gonna ad-lib a little moment now. I don't know about the rest of you who are Elite Dangerous Familiar, where we have the local star systems are all very much true to real life, and the namings are the real names. And I look at the transit map there, the map of the systems, and immediately I'm looking for, the kind of the local stars around Sol. I'm only assuming that CIG have gone with different names for the systems nearby. Can anyone comment on that?
Yep, that is exactly the case. This is 1,000 years into the future, and they're on a whole other naming convention for all of this stuff. And a lot of them have very cool winks, I think, to different sci-fi tropes or whatever. You see, there's a system called Idris. There's a system called Garen. You've got Viking. You've got stuff like Davian, which to me, as an old school, BattleTech player, House Davian, Steiner, and Kurita, and there's, I think, Odin, and there's so many cool little winks and nods here to all different forms of very, very cool, Tyrrell, which is, to me, is a wink to Game of Thrones. Like, there's a lot of neat little winks here, yeah. But this is not the standard sort of star systems that, like, if you look around where it's like, there's Alpha Centauri, there's this, there's that. It's a whole different deal.
But they have a Gliese.
Mm-hmm.
I do see Iglesi down there, so there's at least one star named after.
True.
I
True.
saw Vega in there as well. Yeah, there were a couple, definitely. Yeah.
And Orion, there's a few.